shy to start out, so we got a few more tunes to get you going. I expect a little more action out of you, or you're all failing BPD 402. Anyway, we're here to have fun. We're here to celebrate you. You're always going to have a special place in my heart, meaning you, the class of 2022. I started in the fall of 18 when you all did. So I talk to other people in higher ed. Sometimes you have the sense if you get first and you remember things. So this will always be a class that, for me, helped me realize on occasion I can connect with young people, because you don't know until you come in and do it. And you've all been wonderful to work with, to see you grow from 18, 19-year-olds to 21, 22-year-olds ready for your next chapter in life. So it's been a real pleasure for me, and I just want to start with that, because it'll always be a life memory and accomplishment for a chapter in my life coming into higher ed. So, but what I really want to start with to get you going is to say, because we were happy to have you here, that we're glad you came, and I'm glad you came. And I think that tells you something.
The sun goes down, the stars come out, and all that counts is here and now. My universe will never be the same. I'm glad you came.
Sky fell on me, and I decided you look well on me. So let's go somewhere no one else can see you and me. Turn the lights out now I'll take you by the hand, and you can have a drink it if you can you spend a little time is slipping away from us, stay with me, I can make you glad you came. The sun goes down, the stars come out, and all that counts is here and now. My universe will never be the same. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came.
Class of 2022, all right? I can't be a professional and not give a few professional tips very quick and to the point for you as you are gonna move on into your wonderful next chapter, either starting work or going to grad school. So a quick few tips, really traits. I call these professional traits. In the 40 plus years oh my God, that I've been in the workforce since I left college, these 5 traits are pretty common that I've seen with thousands of people that I've had the pleasure to work with or observe. First, won't be surprising to you, work hard. It's a cliche, but there's no mistake for working hard. There's nothing that you can demonstrate and prove to what you want to do in life to yourself, because you know you're putting your best foot forward all the time into whatever organization you're in. So work hard. Many of you are in sports teams, and anyone that you've idolized growing up or out there now in sports, the best generally practice the most. And I'm sure some of you do that too, that do very fine in your sport here. Those of you that love music and art and theater and movies, usually the best performers practice the most, research their roles the most. It's the exact same thing in business. The people who go up the ladder, get promoted, work hard. Now, I'm not saying work crazy hours and blah, blah, blah. I'm saying get your job done, help your boss at all times, ask for more, but have that mentality of working hard. It's not a secret magic. It's just what we do as people. Sense of urgency. This has been a big deal for me my entire career. Every company I've worked at, we had a rule that I set. You'll answer somebody's email within 24 hours. Sometimes you can't fix a problem and you just say, I'm researching it, I'll get back to you. But it was a mentality in the company to say, we're here to serve customers, we're here to serve each other, so we should always have a sense of urgency. It gets noticed. If people forget things or leave it in their box, it gets noticed. When you're somebody who's always responsive and you have that urgency, it's another factor that I've seen people excel and get all the goals that they're looking for in business. Be a people person. That's going to be different for each of us. There's different personalities. You don't have to dance around like a fool like I do, but in your own skin, how are you connecting with people? At the end of the day, I don't care where you go and work, and I don't care how sophisticated and how much technology and how many rocket scientists are in there, it's people. It's always going to be the greatest asset. And when you go in and start your new careers, meet people, go to the desk down the hall and introduce yourself, join the softball team, the bowling team, get connected with people, and then as you continue to grow and develop and you become managers and leaders, be that servant leader. You're there to serve your people first and foremost, and always be customer driven and focused. Every business, there's some customer, even if you're not in the direct front line. So that's what I mean about being a people person. Be accountable. We talk about this in BPD all the time. You're fine young adults now. You're leaving the college realm. It's up to you to be accountable. You don't have the structure of college and syllabuses and people reminding you and so forth. And parents will always be there for you, obviously, but it is time to take that next step. You're accountable. You're accountable for your decisions. You're accountable for your mistakes. I like people that are willing to admit mistakes and say, how are we going to learn and fix? Not kind of deny or cover up or blame others. So I'm sure you're all going to be this way, but I'm just pointing out, these things I'm talking about get noticed by the managers, the people that run companies. And this is how I always evaluated people, even people coming right out of college. I was looking for these traits. The fifth and most important is being reliable. To me, that's the be-all, end-all. Are you trustworthy? Can I rely on you? Will you get it done? Will you tell me if there's a problem so that we can't get something done, we will? And the people that get the most success in life are very reliable people. You count on them, and I can't emphasize enough, it's the number one trait that I would evaluate people. Can I rely that you're going to do what we need to do and be open and honest, whatever the cause that we're doing? So anyway, those are my quick little 5 tips on observing a lot of people. You'll get a card with this in a little bit. And then our BPD staff did a nice job of putting together what's some thoughts about being an inspired life. So what we do here at the Boulder College of Business is not just talk about business and making money, and that's important, don't get me wrong, but we talk about being a responsible business leader. And that's a core tenet of our curriculum, of how our events and our programs. So just real quick, you'll get a card on this. Never stop learning. It never stops. I've learned so much since I've been here in the last 4 years, and a lot from you. Not just learning from, I've learned a lot about young people and how I could be better serving young people, because my kids won't talk to me anymore, so I appreciate you guys talk to me sometimes. Always strive to make an impact. I think that's embedded in JCU. I think that's why a lot of you come here, because it's a mission. We're here, men and women, for others. So I think, keep that going. It's great to do well out there. It's great to make a lot of money. It's a whole lot better when you know you're making impact. It really is. Stay connected with family, friends, and JCU. That sounds obvious. Trust me. Your life's going to change dramatically when you leave here and go to work. You're going to be in different places. You're not going to see the same people every day like you did. It's not as easy even to catch up. You've got to plan things well in advance to get people connected, and it's really easy to lose touch. So be one of those people that initiates, that encourages, I want to maintain my relationships. Everywhere I've worked in 43 years, there's a few handful of people that I connect. Even they don't even connect with me. Some of them haven't talked to me in years. I send out a Christmas message with a video and music, surprise, surprise, to about 100 people. And all I'm saying is, I remember you were with me. Whatever's going on in your life's fine, but I appreciate where you were in my life at some prior time, if I don't see them regularly. So I think staying connected, and certainly come back to JCU. Give us money if you can someday. Where's the development people? But more important, come back to Buller. I think all of you will say in your 4 years, or less than 4 years if you transferred, how impactful the alumni are, how much they care, how much they really want to help you. I have no doubt you're going to be the same way. And a BPD will take you all back for anything you want to do. Speaking sessions, info sessions, mentoring, whatever. So we really appreciate it. Network, network, network. I know you've heard me say that umpteen times. It's lifelong. Okay, it makes your life better, it'll make you a better business person, and you'll have more opportunities. So enough said on that. And then maintain a work-life balance. It's interesting, a student came in to talk to me yesterday. One of the leadership classes said, we got to interview some leaders. I said, you couldn't find anybody else? No. So we chatted for a while, and he brought this question to me and said, tell me how you've handled, when you first came out of college, work-life balance. I said, that wasn't a term 43 years ago. I said, there was no such thing. You came in, you busted your butt, you hoped you fit your family in. It just didn't exist. It wasn't right. Okay, now we know for a lot of reasons, for health, for mental health, for balancing our life, but work-life balance is not 50-50 every week. Okay, there's times when work's gonna be more, there's other times when personal can be. And I said often to students, it's a teeter-totter. It's going like this. You're trying to always get it to the balance. Don't let it stay that way too long or that way, because then you got a problem. So anyway, thanks to my BPD staff for putting together these inspired things. Now, 3 other quick things, life takeaways. Okay? So this is different than my professional tips. This is just about life in general. Smile, smile, smile. Why do I say that? It's the ultimate body language. It beats all else. When you meet people, when you're walking through the halls, when you go to events, it says a lot. What does it first say? You're an upbeat person. You're approachable. You want to talk to somebody else because you flash that smile. It really is a big deal. Even when you're having a crappy day, when you go out in front of people and you're out in the business world and you're out in their personal life, we all want to hang around what I went to a talk 30 years ago. And the main point of the talk was stop hanging around with people that give you negative energy. Get rid of them, put them to the side. Be with people that give you positive energy. That could be a good TED Talk. We didn't have TED Talks 30 years ago. So, smile. Manage stress. Oh boy, the last 2+ years, stress has been on steroids for everybody. Rudely thrown on us, even though we had stress before in many ways in our lives. It was the ultimate stress of COVID attacking society, and particularly at John Carroll University and the Buller College of Business. So we had to adapt. We had to figure out how we still get our education going the way we need to do remote. We had to balance health. We had to worry about family members. It's horrible. Okay, so what have we learned from that? Number one, you are adaptable. It's a phenomenal skill that most people don't get till later in their life. It's been forced on you, so keep in mind, as a confident factor, you do know how to adapt. Because you're gonna have to adapt many more times, whether it's in your work, your personal life, or God forbid, some other kind of pandemic thing. Okay, so adaptability, you're walking out of here much better than previous generations, even though you might not feel like it sometimes. And you know, we're gonna have more stress in life. So what's the key to that? I'm not a psychology person at all, but I just know from my own life, and I have 3 kids, 28 to 33, and going through what they're going through in their lives, you have to consciously manage your stress. And you'll have stress in work, I'm sorry to say, you're gonna have it, okay? So what are the techniques? Yoga, mentors, talking to people, a stress ball that you're gonna get today. So what are the aspects that you're gonna consciously be aware? Ask for help, okay? I think that's okay today. It wasn't okay in my day. You were considered weak. It's not weak. So anyway, I just want to impress on, it's an ongoing thing. We have to manage our stress and anxiety to just be balanced. And then just to close on these life takeaways, I firmly believe, and look at not just my career, but lots of people I know, you gotta go for it. You gotta go for it in life. You got to take chances, you got to have confidence in yourself, you got to take opportunities even if they might be a little over your head at first. We were talking earlier in our BPD room, even Allie, where's Allie? She's out there with some of her friends. She came in to be a marketing person, wasn't a marketing major, never took a marketing class, I don't think, but she sold herself as an engaging person that was willing to learn and thought a lot of BPD. Okay, so you are leaving here from the Boulder College of Business at John Carroll University, I believe, and I've seen a lot of schools all over the country, one of the finest business schools anywhere. Forget rankings and all that crap. This is an incredible business school. The quality of the program, the faculty, the curriculum, you can get as good at it. My son went to BC, Boston College. Okay, on paper it's ranked way up here. There's no difference in what you have leaving here with the skills, the curriculum, the academics that you have. And, sorry to boast, you're leaving here with the #1 professional development program in the entire world, and it's rated that way. So I've been talking a little too much, but what I'm really closing this down to say is, in my book, you are all stars.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Back to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see, so what's wrong with taking the back streets?
lost my marbles. All right, anyway, in a few minutes, we're gonna give you your official pinning, your bowler pin. It was on my coat there. And you're gonna get 2 cards with the tips that I talked about. There's a number on the back of the blue one, because we're raffling off 15 bowler hats. So I don't want to be the only one with a bowler hat, all right? So when we call your number out, you look at the back of your card. And I want you to remember about life. You got a smiley star stress ball with the BPD logo on the back. So to help you manage some stress, squeeze that sucker, remember BPD, and smile. All right. All right. Let me shift gears here a little bit. First of all, I want to recognize distinguished guest, our next speaker, Dr. Scott Moore. He's been here a long time. He stepped up big time last March of 2021 and became the interim dean to bring us through this year right here. So it was a lot of stuff dumped on his plate with COVID and everything else going on, and he stepped up and he worked with all of us to get us to this point. So I want to recognize and thank Scott for all that he's done for Bowler College in this interim dean role. So let's have our dean come up and share some parting words with you all.
Are you going to sing? I don't do karaoke, so who wouldn't want to follow that, right? I mean, come on. How about a big hand for BTD Bob? It's a little weird how this. The hardest working man in professional development, wouldn't you say? Huh? All right, well, thank you. I also want to say thank you to the BPD staff, because they have done a tremendous job. You know, the BPD program is an enormous program to put on, from networks for success to meet the recruiters, one-on-one advising sessions, writing, interviewing, and so on, resume writing and interviewing advice they give you. So this is what makes our professional development program so robust and unique, and our employers notice it, and they notice your professional skills as a result. So let's give the hardest working staff in professional development in the United States. Now, Bob asked me to say a few words, and he always puts the emphasis on few when he talks to me. He says, give a few words. And so I told him I could probably get this done in 45 minutes or so. It shouldn't be a problem. I try to follow these rules. These are the rules for public speaking. Be good, be quick, and be done. But focus on the last 2. So those are some rules of thumb for public speaking for you. I'll try to take the advice. I know I had a pretty good book of lists already of things to remember, but I wanted to say a couple of things. Maybe you've heard this, a couple of other variations. Maybe you've heard this lately, that the journey is more important than the destination. Anybody? Does that sound familiar? A little bit? You've been talking about that? Well, interesting though, right? College is actually a lot about finishing. You finish a chapter, you take a quiz, you finish a paper, you turn it in, finish a project, give a presentation, finish the semester this week, take your finals next week. Graduate, right? That's graduate. That depends on the finals, of course. There's a lot of finishing in the college experience. So lifetime earnings differential of college graduates and those with some or no college is significant, and it's persistent. And it's true across. You don't have to be a business major, you don't have to be a engineering major, you don't have to be a religious studies major, all majors. You finish, over lifetime earnings are going to be greater than those who don't finish, right? So it's a finishing premium, or a persistence, or a perseverance premium, right? So I see some folks out in the audience like, you persevered through Andy Welke's final, right? Does that sound familiar? Right? I don't know if I saw Dr. Bloom. You got through Dr. Bloom's class. That's perseverance. right? Or Saxton here, Dr. Saxton, wrote all those cases for Dr. Saxton, right? So finishing is pretty important. So you persevered without having your parents here to flog you into it. Right? So that lifetime earnings differential tells us something that there's value to finishing. Right? So if you want to make some money, it's good to be a finisher. But if you want to make a difference, you want to be a finisher. So that's one observation. Be a finisher. Persevere. Right? You're already almost there. Finals? Persevere. All right. Second, embrace the Jesuit value of reflection. Right? So, like BP, I noticed, Bob, you've updated your genres here. I thought you were kind of a classic rock guy, but that's more contemporary music. Contemporary to me. So I'm a classic rock guy, and I like. Oh, by the way, I was going to say is, you'll know when the music you when the music you listen to starts showing up in the classic categories on your streaming service, just warning you, there may be a 7-passenger vehicle in your future. Okay? So, I never thought I'd have a minivan. Okay. So anyway, among the classic rock songs that I kind of like, how about the Talking Heads? Anybody know the Talking Heads? This you'll experience too, right? Nobody knows what you're talking about the songs. But I like this, around graduation time, there's one that I like. It's Once in a Lifetime. Check it out on YouTube sometime. A couple of lines from the song, which I won't try to sing, but you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. You may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. You know this one? You might ask yourself, how did I get here? Right? So you might be feeling like that sometime soon, or you might find yourself not living in a shotgun shack, but maybe walking across a graduation stage, or behind the desk in front of your boss. You might ask yourself, how did I get here? Right? I'd feel it. When David Byrne wrote that song, he was reflecting on the fact that he was an international pop star, right? And he had, it was a kind of a disquieting feeling for him to suddenly have that happen. And about the time that you were in college, he went from playing pubs in Soho to playing Madison Square Garden. So I think the lesson in that is, maybe listen to the song, but also be reflective. Think about some things. What are the risks that you took here? What are the risks that you didn't take? And what did you learn from it? Who are the people that helped you along the way? And maybe more importantly, who did you help? So as we come to this juncture, it's maybe worthwhile as you plot your next course to think about where you've been and to embrace that value of Jesuit reflection. Ask yourself, how did I get here? All right, last observation, I promise we're almost there. Betty Vincent. Anybody know the name Betty Vincent? Not a name too familiar to. So she was an accounting graduate. She was doing well at a telecom company. She was a staff accountant, worked her way up, was working for the CFO, and one day her boss came and asked her to change the way they accounted for some expenses, change operating expenses to capital expenses. We'll spread that expense over 10 years instead of taking it in the first year. What do you think that would do to your earnings? Yeah, boost them way up, right? So they wanted to make their earnings numbers for the quarter. And Betty knew that that wasn't generally accepted accounting principles. She knew it wasn't the right thing to do. But the CFO convinced her that they needed to make their numbers for the quarter. It would help the stock price, it would help them raise capital, and it didn't hurt for their bonuses for the quarter either. So she went along. He promised her it would be only one quarter. But it wasn't one quarter. It was quarter after quarter after quarter. And it mushroomed in the largest corporate fraud in U.S. history, and ultimately the largest, at the time, bankruptcy in U.S. corporate history. It was WorldCom. And she and her boss and the CEO, Bernie Ebbers, went to federal prison over those decisions. So on the wall down the way, across from that big pillar that runs down to the accounting department, there are a couple of murals on the wall, places where it shows the Bowler vision and Bowler mission. And the mission statement in brief says, Bowler College will graduate students who live inspired lives, who will live who will lead with an ethical foundation. Pretty hard to live an inspired life if you don't maintain your integrity. It's pretty hard to lead with an ethical foundation if you don't have integrity. So I encourage you to remember that that part of the Bowler mission statement, and remember that if you don't remember the Bowler mission statement, remember Betty Vincent. She compromised her integrity. She went along with people she knew were not acting with integrity. And in the end, a lot of people, besides those people acting without integrity, were hurt by their decisions. More so than if they had simply reported the numbers that they would have had without cooking the books. So, to finish it off, remember, destination is important, be a finisher. But the journey is also important. Embrace the value, the Jesuit value of reflection, especially as it relates to how you impact others. And remember the lines on the wall at the garden level in Bowler College, our mission statement. Lead with an ethical foundation. And if you forget that, remember Betty Vincent. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott. Wonderful. Okay, now's the pinning ceremony, as we call it. Could I have the faculty and staff that are here please come up? So we're going to give you the Bowler pin along with the squeeze star, because you're an all-star, and a couple of those cards, and the blue card has a number. So what we'll want to do is have each faculty and staff member just pick up some. We'll have to share the bucket, so if we could get 2 people, and let's spread out, like some go in the back, please, and some on the sides here, so we can just make this move relatively quickly, okay? So before they pass them out, hold on one second. Before they pass them out, I want to reiterate Scott's thanks. Chelsea Donovan's the BPD program manager. You've seen in all the classes and many of you worked with. She's done a phenomenal job. Came in here in September and is taking complete control of the program in terms of running the day-to-day. And our staff over here, Priya and Callie and Pankaj, and Ali's out in the audience somewhere. Wonderful people. We had 100% turnover in BPD last year. They all couldn't stand me, they all left, so I had to bring in some new ones. But I'm really so pleased. And can we get a round of applause, a warm round of applause for all of the faculty and staff that have served you for these last 4 years.
You would see the big
Gotta go downtown. So hard with my girls all around me. It's definitely not a national authority. Cause all I see is the letter. I guess I never got the memo. But tell me something in a building and I'm homesick. I know. I'm nervous. It's like I'm changing. I'm not crazy. And the brain needs all the love. The brain needs all the love. And the brain needs all the love. So my heart races like my soul. Butterflies fly away. I'm moving like it. Moving my hips like it. I'm feeling like the plane that's on. And it's gonna be okay. It's a party in the USA. It's a party in the USA. Like I've been on a flight. To my hotel tonight. Something stops me every time. The DJ plays my song and I feel.
All right, everybody, we're almost done. All right, just a quick closing. I had to get a little casual for the closing, so we'll wrap this up. With the weather, obviously, the reception's in here, so they set everything up there so you can get your refreshments and meal up here or meal upstairs, whatever you're comfortable, okay? So we obviously had to bring it in. So let me close with something that I feel very strong about with your generation. Now having been here 4 years, guys, a little quiet in the back, just listen up. Let's just wrap this up, all right? So, you know, I've been fortunate even before coming to Carroll through my kids. I've met hundreds of young people, which has helped to keep me young, and I just enjoy it. Enjoy talking about my experiences to try to help others, but specifically in these last 4 years. I think you are a phenomenal generation of people. And it's important because we have a lot of challenges in the world, not just where we are here. And don't worry, this is not a political thing. This is just the reality of a lot of change has to happen to protect the planet, to have DE&I, like, we don't talk about it because it's out there for real, and you all understand that. My experience is you're obviously very intelligent people. Your research capabilities blow me away. Businesses are going to want this. You figure things out, you can find things out fast. People like me aren't good at that still. So you're going to be welcomed in the business of, in the world of business. You multitask unbelievably. Sometimes in class, and I got to tell you to stop, I'm kidding, but you multitask. I think you're very worldly. What am I getting at? We need what I call the next great generation to step up and be leaders in all aspects of society. Someday, if you get a chance, Tom Brokaw is a very famous, retired famous NBC broadcaster. He coined the term, the Great Generation, wrote a book, and it was about, like, my parents and grandparents that suffered through the Depression and World War II and stepped up and picked up and changed society for the good and made productivity, innovation, et cetera, happen. It's time for the next great generation, and I think you can be that. You got to earn your stripes. You got to get in those leadership roles, which you will in the next 10 to 20 years. And I encourage you to go for it and make change. We need that. We're too polarized. We can have left and right. We can argue. You know, in my day when I got out of college, Ronald Reagan was the president, and Tip O'Neill, this great Irishman who liked to have a good time. They were both Irish. Every Monday night, they met at a private cocktail between the two of them, discussed some political issues, but had some drinks. In other words, they had a relationship. Diametrically different in views. I hope, not just in politics, but in all aspects, and I totally believe, I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic, and I'm confident, take it and go for it. So that's kind of just what I want to leave you with on those thoughts. One last thing is, you know, we say a lot of times, or you say it and we say it, the best time of my life's college. It's a great time, for sure. It's not the only best time in your life. You're going to have many, many best times in your life. You're going to have many best days in your life. Since I've left college, I don't know, hundreds of, sometimes completely spontaneously. So embrace life. It's the wonderful journey that we have. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, live life to the fullest and make a difference along the way. So, to close out, I gotta give you one last BPD music video live. I want everybody to stand for this one, because the best day in your life is not only now, but it's gonna be in the years to come. So, the best day in your life, stand up. Chelsea. Good stuff. All right. Anyway, best days of your life are ahead of you too. So, congratulations. Happy to have worked with everybody. You can work with BPD ongoing. If you have any questions, help, advice, don't be bashful. You know how to get a hold of us.